UFC Vegas 84 Ankalaev vs Walker 2 proved to be a good one despite cancellation of 3 ranked fights. Let's check out the fun facts of this event without wasting any time. I'm the guy with the Indian accent and you are on Fight Book. Joshua Van, who kicked off the preliminary card, is now 3-0 in the UFC. In each of his 3 UFC fights, he lost the first round but then came back and won the fights. He doesn't watch any film of his opponents, so it takes him a round to try and download the information. It really is fun to watch until he gets knocked out against an elite competition. A total of 3 fighters made their UFC debut in this event in the very first 3 fights. Gene Silva is the only one who was successful to get a win, and despite his debut, he was the biggest favorite of the card with -900. Jake Shields went 2-0 as a coach in this event. His fighter Nicholas Mota won by first round KO while Fareed Basharat won by unanimous decision. The main card opener and former heavyweight champion Andrei Arlovski fought his 41st UFC bout last night. He is the earliest debutant active UFC fighter. Arlovski made his UFC debut on November 17, 2000, nearly 1 year before Joshua Van was even born. Andrei Arlovski has now surpassed Neil Magny and Jeremy Stephens for 8th all-time for UFC in cage time, which now sits at 6 hours 34 minutes and 58 seconds. Rafael Dos Anjos is on the top with a total cage time of 8 hours 26 minutes and 49 seconds. Phil Hawes, who started his UFC career with a 3-fight win streak, was being considered a big prospect. But with this loss, he is now on a 3-fight skid and won 4 in his last 5. He immediately started crying with his head in his hands when he woke up from that vicious knockout. It was maybe the last time we saw him in the UFC. What a brutal sport. Jim Miller is 40 years old and has won 5 out of his last 6 fights. All 5 of those wins have came by a finish. Jim Miller now has the record for most wins, which are 27, and most fights, which are 43 in the UFC history. Miller gets a Performance of the Night bonus for this submission win, which was his 15th post-fight bonus. Currently, Charles Oliveira is on the top in this category with 19 post-fight bonuses, and Jim Miller stands at number 4 with Joe Lozon. UFC Vegas 84 features the 2 fighters with the most UFC bouts. First one is obviously Jim Miller with 43 UFC fights, and the second one is Andrei Arlovski with 41 UFC fights. This was the 4th time Miller and Arlovski have competed on a same UFC card, and Miller is 4-0 in those. Magomed Ankalaev extends his unbeaten streak to 12. Although we already have the next title fight almost confirmed between Alex Pereira vs Jamal Hill, Ankalaev says he is willing to headline UFC 300 against Alex Pereira if needed. Now a bonus fact. Do you remember Mike Bell, the judge in the second Shevchenko-Grasso fight, who stole the victory from the former champ? Since then, it was the first time he was seen cage-side in this event. He took a lot of heat for his scorecards in the Shevchenko and Grasso fight, and from what I understand, he took some time away to hit the reset button and clear his mind before he resumed judging. He's definitely a top judge who had a bad night. Now that's all. Like the video if you enjoyed and share it with your friends as well. Subscribe for more, and now I'll see you in the next video, so till then, do whatever you want.